This is Colin McGuigan for IFLTV. Delighted to be joined by Roberto Diaz in Las Vegas, Nevada. Roberto, it's always a pleasure. I feel like it's a big fight week every time we come to Vegas, but how really big is this fight? And obviously, it's a pleasure to have you here as well.
Thank you for having me. It's always great. Look, it's Canelo fight weekend. You can't get bigger than that. And this particular one, I think, is going to be one of the biggest. I think it's going to be memorable. You feel it going into a stadium in Las Vegas against an undefeated champion of multiple divisions. But not only that, a fighter that historically has not just come in and taken fights for a payday. This is a guy who doesn't know how to lose. This is a guy that's coming for legacy. This is a guy that's coming because he believes he can win and that has a high IQ. I think we're going to have one of those Hagler, Duran, Leonard Duran type fights this weekend.
You've been around boxing a long time. You've been around Saul a long time. Obviously, your wife's involved in managing him and those things. But for Canelo, would you say this is the biggest fight of his career?
I think we can find out on Saturday. But if I had to predict today, no.
Which fight's bigger?
I think fight-wise bigger had to be Triple G. Simply because even though in America you need the American opponent, and that's what you have with Crawford. But Triple G had this mystique of invincible. You can't beat Triple G. Oh my God, the boogeyman. And obviously they did 3 great fights together, a beautiful trilogy. But I think that one brought attention from people thinking he can be beat. Remember, when this one was first announced, oh, it's a mismatch. He's too little. Now you got the shift of people believing in Crawford, which I said it from the get-go. It's a dangerous fight for Canelo. It's a tough fight for Canelo. It's a difficult fight. But it's not going to be one that's determined by a bigger man or a smaller man. It's going to be by who's the better fighter.
Do you believe that Canelo Alvarez is too big, too strong for Terence Crawford?
Not at all. Not at all. And that's what I'm saying. I think a lot was said early on that it's too much of a jump in weight. It's two divisions. Look, generational great fighters have gone up in weight and conquered new divisions. We saw it with Sugar Ray Leonard. We saw it with Oscar De La Hoya. We saw it with Manny Pacquiao. Terence Crawford's one of those type fighters. I told him many years ago, I said, look, you remind me of a modern-day Marvin Hagler. You're that good. You're one of those fighters from a different era. You're one of those fighters that I can match up on those fantasy fights and will beat fighters from another era. I can't say that of a lot of fighters in our era today. He is that good. He can jump. I think come fight night, he may even look like the bigger guy. But that's what I'm saying. It's not going to be a weight that wins the fight. It's going to be that experience of being in this level many times. It's going to be the difference of I'm better than you. I'm setting up traps. I'm going to hit you like you haven't been hit before, and I'm going to capitalize. That's where I see the difference. Canelo's just a better fighter, not taking anything away from Crawford. Crawford's a hell of a fighter. Again, I say he's one of those guys I'll put back and fight any of the guys in the 80s and give them a hard fight. But Saturday night, I see Bomac rescuing his fighter as he should.
In terms of Canelo Alvarez, you talk about, fighters of the past, Marvin Hagler there you mentioned. Where do you rate Canelo in amongst all those big names, the Hagler, Hearns, Leonard, Duran?
I think he's the best we've seen in our generation today, no doubt about it. I'd like to see once he retires, once he's completely done. I think it's coming close. But man, I grew up in the 80s, and as much as I, appreciate when I see that special fighter of today, I will say Canelo is definitely one of the top top 4 Mexican fighters of all time. But once I start getting into that Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard, I don't think they're touchable. But once he's retired, I can give a better judgment of what he's finally accomplished at the end and then compare it.
Who's your top 5 Mexican fighters of all time?
I would say Julio Cesar Chavez, without a doubt, number 1. We didn't see quite what we wanted to see, but number 2, I will go with Salvador Sanchez, because I was a young kid that idolized him, but we didn't get to see enough of him. He died too young. Number 3, Canelo Alvarez. Again, he hasn't retired. Number 4, Finito Lopez, who never lost. And number 5, Prince's daddy, Marco Antonio Barrera.
It's a great top 5, to be fair.
Thank you.
Roberto, obviously, this is such a huge event. You say it's coming close to the end for Canelo, which I think everyone would say, you know, this is probably 2 more fights. Would you see him having maybe 2 more after this?
You know what? It's amazed me about him is you've reached Mount Everest when it comes to boxing. You've conquered divisions. You've conquered titles. You've made the money. You've made the fame. How do you continue to go through camps? Because, see, what the fans don't remember is you leave family, you leave that comfort zone, sparring in a camp, 80 to 100 rounds. The body, it takes its toll. Forget about the fights, just the camps alone. He's been doing it since he was 15 years old as a pro.
But does that not even make it harder to leave?
No, I think the only reason we still see him, because look, you see some of these young fighters today that want to retire after a couple fights. I don't know, it's a different breed today. He keeps doing it because of the love of the sport. Obviously, his legacy is so important to him, but he still enjoys it, because if he didn't enjoy it, he doesn't need it anymore. He would have walked away. I think these moments make it so difficult to walk away. The love of the fans, the cheering of the fans. You hear from the fighters that have retired what they miss the most. It's not getting hit in the head. It's the love of the fans, the walking to the ring, that adrenaline. But I do see that, like everything, I mean, every start has a finish. And I think it would be wise that maybe 3 more fights, which is still another year and a half. I think he's at a point where his body tells him one day, and it's going to be the time to say, okay, that's it.
David Benavidez, one of those 3 fights?
Well, seeing what His Excellency has been doing and putting on, look, who would have thought in the past we would have seen Bivol and Beterbiev, not once, but twice, within a period of, 6 months? Yeah. And there was already talks of the trilogy within a period of another few more months. I think he obviously has a vision, obviously has the support and the love of boxing to say, let me try to make the biggest fights. And if he brings it to the table, Canelo has never, I mean, this is a fighter that I've known since early on, and have even mentioned when we sat at the table, hey, maybe not this fighter, maybe not that fighter. I wouldn't suggest this fighter or that fight. And he has never turned down a fight. And that's what makes it more funny when fans are like, oh, he's scared of this guy, he's scared. That's what's frustrating, because, as he says, no matter who I fight today, tomorrow they always have another boogeyman. But that's part of being at the top. I don't see as great of a job they're doing with David, and as a hell of a fight as it could be, I don't see it as the most dangerous fight for Canelo. I see it as a tough fight, because David is young, strong, keeps coming. But remember, he's an amazing counterpuncher, and that's the perfect style for him.
Roberto, I want to ask the Lamont Roach situation. Kind of unfortunate for Lamont, the way everything's played out, and we've seen, Tank Davis and Jake Paul going to fight, which some people are disappointed about, some people love it. What do you think of that fight, first of all?
It's disappointing. Look, we were in camp already. Lamont was training, looking forward to making it right, correcting the wrong that they did to him in the first fight. The world saw him. He deserved that win. He deserved to have his hand raised. He deserved today to be a two-division world champion and the first man to beat Tank. But turn the page. We're not going to sit here and dwell on the past. Now it's looking forward and the future. And the future in August was the rematch. Unfortunately, Tank had a different thought in his team. And you know what? I can't blame him in the sense that as much as I wanted that rematch to happen, the business sense says I can make more money in an exhibition with Jake Paul. Why am I going to risk losing to Lamont Roach? He knows Lamont has his number. He knows, I like to compare Tank to a mini Mike Tyson because he has that edge over the opponents a lot of time with that power and that intimidation factor, and he's devastating. And I said it before the fight, please don't take him off the pedestal. He's a hell of a fighter, one of the best pound for pound. Just add a spot to add Lamont Roach's name once the fight's over. And I sustain that. I still think he's one of the top guys in boxing. But just like Tyson had a man named Evander Holyfield, Tank has a guy named Lamont Roach who's not intimidated, who won't back down, and on the contrary, comes forward to. I thought he was going to knock him out in the rematch. That's how confident I was of what Lamont showed us in March. But we're still hopeful that it happens. Maybe it would be even bigger if it happens after this exhibition. I'm just hopeful the kid doesn't retire because he has enough money and says, I don't want to face Lamont Roach.
What's your plans with Lamont Roach then? Obviously you've discussed other fights. Are we close?
We are very close. We're waiting on the promotion side to make the announcement, but he will be fighting before Christmas and closing out the year with another surprising and very entertaining fight for the fans.
Can you give us any information on that fight, where it's going to be, who it's going to be?
We're hoping to have that announcement within the next week, leaning towards California, West Coast.
Roberto, any other signings on the horizon? I know you and Jason Quigley do some great work together. I know you've got some amazing fighters. You just had a fighter lost last week in a very good fight of the year contender actually, in Diaz and Sugar Nunez, and I seen you there ringside in Los Mochis. But just in terms of you and Jason Quigley and your business, anyone else on the horizon?
Yeah, we're working right now with, Jason's doing a tremendous job. I salute him. I talk to him almost every day, and he has a vision. He has an eye for talent. He's out there scouting young fighters, supporting young fighters, and he loves what he's doing, the management part, and he's doing it really well. Right now we have under Sheer Sports a young lady that the WBC just gave us the great news to. She ordered the negotiations to fight for the world title, and we're going to start those negotiations now with her, the champion's promoter, Ashley Gonzalez, and we represent Adelaida La Cobra Ruiz, who gets her chance to get the title back.
Amazing. Well, Roberto, I look forward to catching up again this week. It's always a pleasure. It's not a Canelo fight week without Roberto Diaz, so I appreciate it as always. And look forward to speaking again this weekend.
Thank you very much. And to all the fans, don't miss Saturday night. It's going to be epic. Another Canelo big celebration. See you Saturday.